Peter went up to him and said, Lord, how often must I forgive my brother if he wrongs me? As often as 7 times, Jesus answered. Not 7, I tell you, but 77 times. And so the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who decided to settle his accounts with his servants. When the reckoning began, they brought him a man who had owed 10,000 talents, but he had no means of paying. So his master gave orders that he should be sold, together with his wife and children and all his possessions, to meet the debt. At this, the servant threw himself down at his master's feet. Give me time, he said, and I will pay the whole sum. And the servant's master felt so sorry for him that he let him go and cancelled the debt. Now, as the servant went out, he happened to meet a fellow servant who owed him 100 denarii, and he seized him by the throat and began to throttle him. Pay what you owe me, he said. His fellow servant fell at his feet and implored him, saying, Give me time, and I will pay you. But the other would not agree. On the contrary, he had him thrown into prison till he should pay the debt. His fellow servants were deeply distressed when they saw what had happened, and they went to their master and reported the whole affair to him. Then the master sent for him. You wicked servant, he said, I cancelled all that debt of yours when you appeared to me. Were you not bound then to have pity on your fellow servant, just as I had pity on you? And in his anger, the master handed him over to the torturers till he should pay all his debt. And that is how my heavenly Father will deal with you, unless each one gives your brother from your heart. I thought that was a beautiful reading, how Peter asked about forgiveness.
Yes.
And the way that Jesus answered back, not 7, but 77 times. And in a way, I kept thinking, when I reflected about this, it was like a scale.
Yeah.
And the more we hold on to things, the more heavier the scale pushes us down.
Oh, that's a very good image.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the more we release the things that hold us, the more lighter
The lighter
scale.
we will be.
Yeah.
And that gives us the freedom then to be who God's calling us to be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that reading quite challenging. Like, I remember one time in my life when I had someone I wasn't getting on well with, and it seemed to me that it didn't matter what I did, I couldn't heal the rift, you know? And in the end I decided that I actually couldn't do any more. You know, I'd done as much as I could do. But I also knew that that wasn't where it should be left. So every day I used to pray for this person, every day.
Yeah.
And over a number of weeks and months, things just slowly started to change. And it was kind of like, I guess that a lot of the change was in me, but I also believe the power of prayer healed the whole situation.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes even when you go to a person, if they've offended you, and say, I forgive you, that doesn't work. You've still got to do something else, and you've still got to pray the forgiveness in a different way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I felt the same way with a person in my life, that we weren't getting on, and I needed to walk away if I needed to hold on to this relationship.
Yes.
And take a breather and then come back. And because I walked away, I kind of released all those things that keep us apart. And then I came back and we carried on the next day as if nothing had happened. And in a way it was like this really wonderful feeling of tension was gone, but there was something more. And I looked at what was holding us apart, and this person had a condition, and this condition was making it harder and harder for him to associate with each other. And so sometimes they say that don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And there's always stories to be told. And so I felt, in a way, letting off all this steam and walking away and coming back kind of helped me to take another look.
And so you didn't do what the unjust servant did, which was try and pin this person down and make him do something.
Oh, it's hard. It's not easy.
It's not easy. Forgiveness is not an easy thing, but it is the mark of a follower of Jesus. And we are really called to it, aren't we? And even just not sometimes only in our personal life, but in the life of a community. Sometimes a community can get a rift in it. And somehow we need to keep the doors open, even if it's not till years down the line, for that community to come back together. So, it's a big thing.
77 times.
Not just once. Well, that will give us a lot to think about in the week to come. 77 times. I wonder if I should start ticking it off once, twice. But it's, the 77 is, of course, is a metaphorical figure meaning a huge amount, so thank you very much for sharing with me.
Thank you.